Right. Coming off a 2-game skid, battling injuries, the 49ers needed a statement win, and they got it. But with the red zone struggles, questionable game management, and a defense that had to do the heavy lifting, was this victory enough to build momentum for the divisional battle ahead? Today on the 49 Problems, we break down the highs and lows of the 49ers win over the Patriots and what it means for the road ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kyle J. Vigil.
Ray J. Garcia.
Cortez is he's still MIA.
He's our unpaid intern.
Yeah, he's still bouncing back from a Brokeback Mountain.
Camping trip he went on.
Yeah, we obviously here week 4 reaction to the 49ers versus the Patriots. We have just kind of I just want to start with the we'll probably go like first half, just what we seen. Niners took a lead, but before that, like I wanted to kind of give it like a little bit of context, like 1 and 2 coming into this game. You and I, we recorded the episode Wednesday. We talked about the importance of this game. What did you see like coming into this that you were like, I guess, the most positive about? Like, okay, cool. Like they got this done. This was step 1. We got 2 divisional games coming up. It's our week 4 reaction. Ray J. Garcia, welcome to the pod. 49 Pound.
I think to answer this question, from what I seen, was our defense stepped it up. Our defense played, you know what I mean? See Demo out there breaking up passes, making plays, stepping up, making tackles. Fred Warner got the pick 6.
Damn, yeah. Fred Warner, dude.
Just fucking looked like a dolphin, jumping out of the water.
Player of the game?
Yeah.
It has to be, dude. You know what I mean?
Either that or Bosa. I mean, Bosa had.
But that I mean, no shot at Bosa, but his.
But no, that came at the end of the game.
Yeah, the end of the game. Yeah.
He was pressuring the quarterback all day. He was just that short of fucking like 10 sacks today.
Like that Fred Warner pick 6 was like a statement, like right away. Like they were like, dude, we're you know what I mean? Like the 49ers had some of the banners we have here. So I got offensive struggles, right, in the red zone. Just in general, right? We had the offensive struggles to begin with.
I just think I think offensive struggles, I think it's more or less play calling. Like in the red zone, we came out of 2 red zone visits with field goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Why can't we put the ball in the
end zone? Yeah. Like, to me, that's the most frustrating, especially against a team where it's like, I know like not everything goes to plan. And I think that's Kyle Shanahan's like biggest thing is he really wants things to go to like his plan in the beginning of these games. And he's comfortable being like, okay, we like it's efficient. Oh, we scored. We still got 3 points, And then how many times this year alone have we seen Fred Warner and the defense make big plays when they need to, and then the offense let them down? Like how many times have you seen like Fred Warner's face at the end of a loss? 2 losses this season, but so. But he said it in this game, like, he said it in this game, like, dude, I'm gonna take this shit in my own hand. He could have went down. Me and you were looking at each other like, is he gonna fucking run it in? And like, bro, he fucking took it all the way to the house. He said, I'm gonna fucking put matters. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna score before the offense does.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of like a statement for Fred Warner, like not only to, like again, right, like his defensive player of the year. Maybe we could talk more about that later, but. That was kind of like a statement to his team and to Kyle Shanahan, like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, we need to start shutting teams down. You know what I mean? Like, we need to start putting them out early, like letting them know, like putting the foot on their neck. Like that was huge, bro. Especially for that, like again for those offensive struggles that could not persisted throughout the first half, the second half, the end of the game. You know what I mean? Despite what was the final score? 30-27. You were saying
I think a lot of the success of the defense today was the offense being successful.
Yeah.
Giving defense the opportunity to get a break and not forcing them back on the field. You know what I mean? Allowing them to be fresh when they get out there to make plays. And again, I don't want to give.
Yeah, because
it's a morale boost to come out and dominate a game and win, but you're supposed to dominate.
Against him,
you know what I mean.
That was the I would say the caution going into this game was, well, sometimes we how would you say, overestimate, and it becomes a trap game, right? So we didn't want to happen that again. We've seen this underestimate. We've seen
Well, they I think Cincinnati underestimated them the first week one.
Cincinnati.
The Bengals. Patriots came out and beat the Bengals.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Everybody expected Cincinnati just to roll them. You know.
Yeah, with the young coach, new head coach, former player trying to prove himself. A team that can be easily overlooked, and we've seen this team fumble games like that before, right? Last year they went on a 3-game losing streak. Right now we're literally on the potential of a 3-game losing streak. There's points in this game, right? Like, because you brought up a point, right, where because I really want to talk about that. Where we talked about it last week, complementary football. You said the defense played its best when the offense did its job, but there's points in this game where the offense was like literally stalling out, like 2-3 drives in a row, and putting that defense back out there and putting them in a precarious situation where in the first half, we'll get more into the second half, but in the first half, the defense nearly pitched a shutout. You know what I mean?
But with that being said, 1 or 2 series, 3 and out, putting our defense right back on the field versus, 3/4 of a game. You know what I mean? Where, our defense didn't get as much rest for those 2 series, but they were conditioned to where they could still maintain their, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus then every other series that happening and them, not getting any kind of rest.
The defense caused that first strip fumble early in the first half.
Yeah, and it was
Okawaku, Sam Okawaku or whatever.
Yeah.
Shout out, him filling in for Javon Hargrave.
Next man up.
Yeah,
we were talking about that. It has to be the next man. Last Wednesday, we were talking about it has to be the next man up. You can't keep using all these excuses. We got $100 million, and Sam Okawaku
making the most of those.
No disrespect if I said your name wrong.
Yeah,
but making the most of his opportunity. He was a terror in the backfield today. Not only him, Bosa. They were back there causing ruckus, and they may not have got as many sacks as they should have deserved.
Yeah,
but they created a lot of sacks. What do we have? Like,
I think they maybe finished with
6 or
at
8.
Least 5.
No, I know
at least 5,
at least
and then maybe 6.
At least 6. Might have been 7 or 8.
You might be able to pull up the stats better than I could, but not to throw you off. But going back to that fumble, we touched on it during the game when we were talking. Kyle Shanahan gets these defense make these incredible plays, and Kyle Shanahan, it was a 3 and out ultimately, I believe, and it led to another field goal. Which, it's efficient. Yeah, okay, we took 3 points off of it, but the defense, after making that, that play, is already back on the field. And we got 3 points out of it. Where versus kind of, giving the defense a little bit of a break, let them calm down, drain the clock out, give your offense more opportunity. Because the more snaps this team gets to, we still got to understand, we're dealing with these injuries coming into this game, a 1-2 start. We were faced with multiple injuries in this game. Trent Williams was questionable with a toe injury. Last minute, Talanoa Hufanga was a late scratch. Nobody's seen that coming. Curtis Robinson was a death at the linebacker. That was a person that was earlier this week during practice, I believe. And he was placed on the IR. You touched on Javon Hargrave, Sam Okawaku stepping up for him. Debo and Kittle returning. There was some bright spots there. George Kittle ultimately ended up with a touchdown. We'll touch a little bit more on Brock Purdy in the offense, but just a quick little overview. What we've seen, or what the 49ers are facing going into this game. And I wanted to highlight that. Again, Shanahan not capitalizing on those turnovers like most. I see what's the difference between us and some of these other teams that.
What am I looking up? Game set?
If you pull, so sometimes they're easier for you to pull up.
I was trying to go through an app, but it wasn't.
Yeah. That pick 6 by Fred Warner, that was huge for the momentum, right? That really carried us through the first half, I feel. Let's talk about Fred Warner's. Before we finish the first half, let's talk about Fred Warner's case for Defensive Player of the Year. As you find them stats, Ray. Me personally, bro, like last year, I was literally one of the few. I mean, I want to say the few, right? Because obviously, like every 49er fan promotes and pushes, Fred Warner. You know what I mean? But he didn't really. He got some recognition last year. I mean, I know he got like maybe some early like recognition about potential Defensive Player of the Year. This year, there's been like DPOY, MVP like conversation. Like this fool's got what, like maybe like a total of like 7 to 8 turnovers already in 4 games, all combined. You know what I mean, between fumbles and interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, he's always going to be right in the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe this year's the year he gets it, as long as he keeps it up. He stays healthy. He don't get hurt. He continues to play that way.
Yeah, at a high level. Injuries back to that, because obviously like it ended up being more of like a precautionary thing for the ankle. They took him off the field, but again, right, him staying healthy, not having Drake Greenlaw, right, vital to the season. But that dude's balling at an all-time fucking level, bro. I thought last year some of these players peak. You know what I mean? Like maybe like we've seen the most out of Debo. We'll still see like some flashes from him and Kittle. I thought some of these defensive players peaked, like maybe Bosa and Fred Warner. But dude, Fred Warner looking like he came in like a man possessed. I think we were gonna look at team sacks.
I think we had 6.
Yeah, so like when you click on this one,
you want to see player stats or
quick did you pause? I was just like, sometimes if it's open, it's
well, they had 6
team sacks,
sacks as a team. Let's see player stats.
I know Bosa only got that one at the end, I think. But yeah, Fred Warner, dude, definitely making a play for Defensive Player of the Year. It's still early. It's only a month through the season. I generally like to tell people, not only player-wise, but team-wise, I like to give them like 4 to 6 games to kind of really get a feel for what the team's going to be. The Niners are barely sitting at 500 right now. Right now, Fred Warner's looking like a Defensive Player of the Year front runner. You know what I mean? Maybe an MVP dude at this fucking level. You know what I mean?
As far as sacks, Bosa got 1. Kevin Givens got 2.5.
Yeah.
Malik Collins got 1.5. Evan Anderson got 1, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Can you go back to pull up the player stats on Purdy, like his complete, like it shows his completions and yardage and all that?
He was 15 for 27 with 288 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
See, so right now we got next topic for this. Still in regards to the first half, but this is kind of like and Purdy under pressure the entire game. And it's like, yeah, I'm kind of nitpicking right now, after a win, but again, we're sitting at 500 with 2 divisional games coming up, and he got barely 50% of his passes completed, and
a little bit over.
Yeah, like so
versus Jacoby Brissett was 19 for 32, which is just under.
Yeah, he completed like what?
No, just over 50%.
Yeah.
168 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That was Fred Warner's pick 6.
Yeah. But a lot of times in this game, Purdy was clearly either on the run, immediately under pressure, but to his credit, what his offensive line lacks, he kind of makes up for. I feel he was making a lot of plays on the run, which is, I feel, essential for a quarterback in this NFL. Like, if you know what I mean, like for the most part, like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but most of his huge, like, memorable plays come when he's on the run and it's off script. And we've seen Purdy making plays off script and on the run today. We've seen Jawan Jennings make some plays. We've seen Brandon Ayuk with some difficult catches, but making plays. George Kittle with the touchdown. Juszczyk was out there making plays.
I'm still not satisfied with Ayuk, man.
Okay, so we didn't touch on the Ayuk situation this week. You know what I mean? We kind of did it earlier, but so what do you mean though in terms of like
just the
production, the money?
He cried for that contract, said he was the number 1 wide receiver, which that's no lie. He was last year.
You have his receiving stats?
That's no lie. He was
last year. Yeah, he was our number 1 wide receiver. I think he finished with 1,300 yards.
Yeah.
Something I've been meaning to ask you, not to get well. I'll come right back to Brandon Ayuk, but last year this offense finished with what was it, 3 1,000-yard receivers, and then a 1,000-yard receiver and rusher with McCaffrey, and then a 4,000-yard passer with Brock Purdy. And I was like, how easy is it going to be able to replicate that? And this year, it's not looking like it's going to be that easy. You know what I mean? Even with all these superstars. But back to Brandon Ayuk, like you said, last year, best wide receiver. He got the contract. He held out for all offseason.
All preseason
To the last minute. But so me and you didn't really get to go like in depth on this one. Which one are we going with? All right, we're gonna try the right Twix. This segment about Brandon Ayuk is sponsored by Right Twigs. So
should be the left Twix.
Parmalee,
chocolatey,
wafery, very crisp, kind of chewy.
Yeah, that guy though.
Kind of sticking to my teeth a little bit.
Hope my dentures don't fall out.
Interesting to see if the other one will stick to my teeth. But
see, what I did is I chewed the right one on the left side, so then I'll chew the left one on the right side just to see if the sides are biased.
So what? But. So I'm not saying like I'm gonna enlighten you, right? But here's my perspective, right? And let's just see.
Well, just have I gave Ayuk stats yet?
Nah.
He was 2 receptions for 48 yards, average of 24 yards. So I mean,
it doesn't show how many targets he actually got, though, huh?
No, maybe I could go.
But AI, will you please edit all these butts out?
Yeah, but our leading receiver was Juwan Jennings. 3 receptions for 88 yards, average of 29. Then you got Debo for 3 for 58.
Who had the most receptions?
Debo and Jennings.
Tied?
Yeah.
So, yeah, see, like the passing game was, I don't know, at points in times it seemed like they would make those big, deep plays, but overall it was kind of not as efficient as we hoped. But, so, here's the thing, though. We know the relationship between Shanahan and Brandon Ayuk has always been contentious. You and I are, as longtime diehard 49er fans, are well aware of Brandon Ayuk being in the doghouse immediately coming out of college. And about 3 of those were like legit defensive, like good plays. 2 of those were drops. Ronnie Bell didn't see the field this week, thank God. But my personal take on Brandon Ayuk right now is he's not. He hasn't been.
You got to start performing, dude.
But is he going to get the opportunities to perform like that?
I mean, if you're not putting out the effort, no, you're not going to get the opportunity.
We've seen one game where he got.
It's almost like he's got to earn that trust back and earn them opportunities.
Yeah, but we've only seen one game where he's got like wide receiver 1 targets, and again, right, like he had some good plays, 5 catches, and then he had. And those those weren't just like any 5 catches. Like there were 5 catches where maybe 2 or 3 of them went for first downs. Like essential pivotal plays. In a game that we ultimately lost. But versus like Brock Purdy gets when Brock Purdy wins or loses, when he wins without his weapons, he gets praised. When he loses without his weapons, he gets the benefit of the doubt. People are like, oh well, Christian McCaffrey wasn't there. Oh, Debo wasn't there, right? But when Brandon Ayuk doesn't perform in a loss with these guys not there, he still doesn't get that same benefit of the doubt.
Because Brock Purdy's playing on a rookie contract, only making $800,000 a year, with Ayuk.
Yeah.
And fought for a contract saying I'm the best receiver on the field, and he's not living up to that.
But here's another thing too.
That's why the criticism.
Yeah, and I understand that. But here's another thing though too, right? Like I'm all for the criticism, but what I'm saying is I'm looking at it from I'm trying to look at it from a more a rounded perspective.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, like a rounded perspective, right? Like at the same time though too, like he's only gonna get so many targets. I don't know what his targets were today. It'd be interesting to see if he got 10 targets again and only caught 2 passes. You know what I mean? As the week goes on, that's why it's gonna be cool for because now we have more time. We're gonna be able to get on maybe again later in the week because we'll get more information. Like people that break down the game, we'll see if Brock wasn't looking his way and missing him again, whatever the case may be. We don't know at this time, but I mean, I agree with your take, like in terms of I might be a little more like favorable like towards Brandon Ayuk. I like him as a player.
No, I do too, and I advocated him for getting the contract. I'm just, I just feel played because I spoke up and said he deserves it. Give it to him, and now he ain't playing like he deserves it.
Yeah,
he's whatever.
Yeah,
and you haven't even heard him come out publicly and address it. He's just kind of staying quiet. Where he came out after the first week. I'm not in game shape. I'll get there.
Yeah, and like the second week, it was like I like what I'm seeing. Like last week, it was teams are starting to realize what me and Purdy like to do, so they're kind of closing in on it. But it is also true, right? Like what a lot of people are kind of overlooking, right? And this isn't to take away from the fact that he does have some diva qualities, which we'll cover that a little bit more after I say this. Brandon Ayuk, last year, we're overlooking right now. This team was like super healthy last year, so there was a lot of double teams on Debo, double teams on McCaffrey, double teams on George Kittle. This year, like last week, when Brandon Ayuk got 10 targets, George Kittle wasn't on the field, Debo Samuel wasn't on the field, Christian McCaffrey was on the field. So these guys were kind of, it's easy for them to double team, hit Brandon Ayuk on the line of scrimmage. It makes him harder to be a number one wide receiver. And then on top of that, Brandon Ayuk is running the deeper routes. We've covered that earlier this week. Brandon Ayuk's running those deep routes. Brock Purdy doesn't have that much time. Brandon Ayuk might not even be the number one because he's not favorable to Kyle Shanahan right now. So Brock Purdy's not looking at him in the progression until later in the play where he's already on the run and he's got to make a quick decision. You know what I mean? He's like, I can't throw that downfield on the run. You know what I mean?
Juwan's been the number one
right now. Yeah.
Throughout the first 4 weeks.
So that's why I'm saying like I know Brandon Ayuk legit. He's getting paid like that, but they're not using him like that. You know what I mean? And they tried to last week, and Juwan Jennings just went off, and they fed the monster, and they still gave Brandon Ayuk his opportunity. And there was just some really good defensive plays, bro. Who knew fucking the Rams can play secondary? You know what I mean?
We'll see. We'll see moving forward. You know what I mean? Because I know. I know at least.
Can I try the left one now?
Yeah, let's try the left.
I
know there was at least 5 targeted to Ayuk today.
Yeah, at least, huh? That sounds like it's going great. But so what was your take this week? You've seen the video, you've heard multiple takes on it probably. How did you feel about the whole uniform issue where Brandon Ayuk wore the wrong shorts? Kyle Shanahan addressed him in front of everybody at practice. Brandon Ayuk had an apparent little tantrum meltdown, threw his gloves off, threw his shorts off, kicked him off the field, whatever. How do you feel about that? Is that leading into kind of like your overall like feeling towards him right now too, even after the game?
That just adds to it. Forget who tweeted it. Maybe Mayoko. It might have been Mayoko talking about.
Sure.
You held out for this contract and you got it, and you're still being a diva. You're coming out of uniform. But I think in Mayoko's tweet or post on Instagram, it said Fred Warner wears that C on his jersey. Fred Warner would never come out to practice out of uniform.
Yeah.
And if he did, he would never throw a tantrum, kick things. And that's just why?
Yeah.
Why,
Yeah.
I mean,
why are you different?
I could see you. So, okay, you're late to practice, so you just ran out there in what you had on. But then when Shanahan confronts you and gives you the right pair to wear, why throw the fit? Why kick the shorts?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm like I said, I advocated for him. He's losing a fan right now.
Yeah.
He ain't lost a fan. He's working on losing a fan.
Yeah. I feel like where you're at right now is where I was at with Debo, and that's what's led me to my like. My overall. I'll root for Debo when he does something good, but my overall.
So.
Because I've seen this with Debo. This is exactly what Debo's done, in my opinion.
No, okay, but what I'm going to get at right now, and I don't know if you talk about this, is
I feel like when Brandon Ayuk still gets the ball in his hand, you still see the effort. You still see he's he's out there to make the play. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, for sure. I'm not taking that away from him.
And same thing with Debo.
I'm just saying the diva-ness that's going on now. You know what I mean? Like, if you're at it, why argue? Why kick your shorts? Why be pissed off about it? You fucked up. You know, it's not his fault.
Yeah, and he is the first to do something like that in a while. And maybe that points to, so maybe this is why I told you, like, maybe this is a little bit more speculation and like me trying to get a little bit deeper. Maybe this points to Kyle Shanahan losing the team.
Well,
but he's never had that connection with Brandon Ayuk.
So that's one thing.
Who was the only guy working out with Trey Lance?
No,
Trey,
I know.
You know what I mean? Brandon Ayuk, you know?
But that's one theory, bro. I was going to hit you with the theory thinking, you know, we've since the beginning, we've talked about somebody's got to go in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we've been saying, and even you had, what's his name on, and he said it might be Debo. Forget that.
Oh, Jamie Winborn.
Yeah. Old linebacker.
Yeah.
And you said it might have, he was even said it might be Debo.
Yeah.
With Ayuk acting like this, I mean, everybody knows Shanahan and Debo they're tight. They got a connection.
But whose contract's going to be easier to shovel off next season?
I think Ayuk.
No, bro.
There's teams that need number one wide receivers. Yeah. Debo's not going to be a number one wide receiver.
This win is going to help the team. And just to kind of round out the first half, you know, defense, you know, fucking Chef's kiss. Nearly pitched a shutout. They gave up a 63-yard field goal, special teams at the end. But, you know.
And then came back and turned the ball over. I think it was an Ayuk fumble.
That was,
was it Ayuk fumble?
Yeah, we caught, let's see here. I got that near defensive shutout. Yeah, I don't know. Because me and you were kind of doing something at halftime. We got sidetracked.
We was smoking.
We came out and we seen out of nowhere the Patriots had scored a touchdown. It was 10
to 20.
I had wrote it down, but
10 to 27.
Defense. Let me have it down. Let me see. Oh, so despite the turnover, whatever, right? Like I wouldn't say like that was like a defensive thing. Like, yeah, like you know, they came out of the half. They gave up a touchdown off a turnover. Like that's a bad look, but you could kind of see where the momentum was swinging a little bit, like in that direction where me and you were kind of questioning, like, oh, this might be one of those games where is Kyle Shanahan going to let these fools come back, but
give up another multiple score game.
Yeah, and then so that kind of led me into, you know, leaning on the young man, J.P. Mason, his impact, you know, this month, you know, throughout not only the NFL, but, you know, mainly for the 49ers. Like at one point in time, you know, I think he was like the leading rusher in the NFL for like the first couple of weeks, you know.
Number two
or something like that.
He's always been number two behind Saquon.
He had another near 100 yards today. I believe he was up there. But you know, J.P. Mason, his impact. What you know, I wanted to highlight not only
123.
Huh?
He had 123 yards.
He had 123 yards today. J.P. Mason.
24 carries, 103 yards, average of 5.1. So he's maintaining that 5 yards a carry average.
And he scored a crucial touchdown behind Trent Williams in the second half, early in the second half. My personal opinion, Shanahan has been leaning a little bit too much on Jordan Mason, something that we've seen him do not only with Debo, but with other running backs like Christian McCaffrey. Who else in the past? Mostert, Breda, Jeff Wilson Jr., Elijah Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like
Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, a trend that obviously bodes well when the team kind of rides somebody who's got a hot hand, and it usually bodes well for us. But we also seen where, like, long term it doesn't end up well for us. But just kind of wanted to shout out Jordan Mason for his impact on the team, not only today, but
for keeping the offense moving without missing a step in the running game. You know, without McCaffrey. But if we do get McCaffrey back, which I was hearing yesterday, we might be getting him back like later on in the season.
Like November at least?
Yeah, week 11 or something like that, to where he'll have like maybe 6-8 games left with us. Which like maybe 5 or 6 games.
I seen somebody even saying too, like if it's something questionable, we seen Talanoa Hufanga come back last week, be a late scratch for this game. We don't, you know, ankle He looked fine on the sidelines, whatever. Maybe he was just sore, like you kind of theorized. But there was like, maybe they rushed CMC back too early. Or even if they wait, what if they wait until December and they're like, we
this is a nagging injury that's carried over from last year.
So imagine they wait until December and we've already lost 2 games. We're barely 2-2, right? We got 2 divisional games coming up. Maybe we should start looking into that real quick. Just kind of catch up real quick on that. How crucial. We already lost 1 divisional game to the Rams. We need to beat the Seahawks. We need to beat Arizona, bro. So let's say we don't, or let's just say we lose a couple more games and it's like late in the season and we lost 5 or 6 games and we need to win out to get to the playoffs. And hey, Christian McCaffrey said he's ready to come. He said he's going to play. Maybe there's some kind of question whether or not he's 100%. Maybe he's like 99%. This fool gets hurt again, and then he can't even play next year at all.
I think we just need to go out and pick somebody up. Mostert was
because they ain't using Garendo.
Mostert has been mentioned.
JP Mason has no backup right now, bro.
I mean, they are using Garendo, but they're not giving him enough carries. They're not using him enough. But shit, I'd be cool if they even went and picked up Frank Gore Jr. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have. Sorry about that. Frank Gore Jr. We touched on that last week or earlier this week on Wednesday.
But Mostert, I've been hearing a lot of rumors of Mostert.
At this point, if Shanahan finds someone he trusts, I'll take it because I don't want to lose Jordan Mason. You know what I mean? That we need him, bro.
Well, I would trust Mostert coming back.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, regardless, like me and you were like, we want Frank Gore Jr. or give Garendo more touches. Obviously, Shanahan doesn't trust certain players. He does trust Mostert.
I want Gore Jr. for the legacy. I don't know if he's going to be the answer, but you know what? His dad was fucking my favorite player, one of my favorite Niners. I mean, I got his fat head. You can't see it,
Yeah, because all them big ass weights that we've been lifting. Mm-hmm. Jordan Mason also had like
we have to put clothes on him and bags to make him heavier.
Jordan Mason might be the next Frank Gore. He had a big play, 25-yard run, but also I wanted to touch on like the mismanagement in terms of like, should we run it on this play? I mean, you kind of talk about that. Should they run it on this play? Should they pass? I don't know. I've seen a lot of that, bro. Like where it's like, dude, why are we passing on? What was it like? We were already up. They had scored a field goal. It was like
it was a 3rd and no.
We're trying like the objective of the game at that point should have been we should be milking the clock, and we got this guy that's balling the fuck out, and he threw 3 straight passes in a row, all incompletion. So if you come out passing and you throw an incompletion, Kyle Shanahan's like, well, fuck, now I gotta pass it again, right? I don't know, dude. It was kind of frustrating for me, but for the most part, I just don't want to see them lean on Mason too much, to where he would get hurt.
So my thing is, why weren't they using him more in the red zone?
That's what probably lost us the Super Bowl. Not running it in the red zone. You know what I mean?
We're kicking field goals in the red zone instead of trying to score touchdowns.
It goes back to earlier in the show, the offensive struggles in the red zone. It just continues to be an issue. Brock Purdy passing on plays where
I'd like to see Shanahan's red zone plays.
Brock Purdy passing on plays where he should be more, or where I wouldn't say it's Brock Purdy, but Kyle Shanahan calling a play where he should be more mindful of the situation, and a pass can lead to an easy turnover, interception. You know what I mean? But Kyle Shanahan's the guy.
Let's go back to the Super Bowl with Seattle. Seattle and the New England, when they chose not to run it with Marshawn and throw a pass and it got picked.
Yeah.
Was it New England?
Yeah.
Seattle?
Yeah. Run the motherfucking ball.
And if we got mini Marshawn, why not? Why not, why are we going to make the same mistake? Why not run it?
Yeah. Especially with, like you said, mini Marshawn. I've seen a lot of people compare JP Mason to Marshawn Lynch.
They've been since last year. So.
Ray, defensive dominance this game. By the third quarter, 49ers racked up 4 sacks. Nick Bosa had an impact sack. It was a strip recovery and multiple pressures leading to incompletions. And a quick shout out to Sam Okuwanu, again, stepping up in the absence of some injured players. Any thoughts on defensive dominance this week, Ray?
Bosa and Warner.
Bosa, Warner player of the game.
I seen Demo come up and make some plays. I've seen Demo a lot.
That gonna be your next jersey?
Maybe.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. 49 Problems. Ray J. Garcia, next jersey. Diamador Lenore. I highly recommend that jersey, bro. But there's no hey, that's another thing, right? Like obviously, like we won't look too far ahead right now, but going into next season, with that Brock Purdy contract coming up, I've seen like that thing where it's like there's 36 free agents. Charvarius Ward and Diamador Lenore on there. So me and you talk about that a lot. You might not want to buy a jersey when these guys might not be on a team.
Yeah, I think Demo will. He's not that expensive. Charvarius demands money. Demo, you know.
Yeah. Just real quick, Ray, I want to read a couple of these off to you. So let me close. Oh, this is actually relevant. There was so sloppy offense and game mismanagement. Kyle Shanahan's questionable game management after a 27-10 lead. Passing when running the ball could have eaten the clock. An unnecessary deep throw to Juwan Jennings about 50 yards when they should have focused on ball control. That was the incompletion, right?
No, he popped it.
Did he catch it? Oh yeah, right. Like a huge play, right? Which is cool. Like I mean, like yeah, like I guess like I am nitpicking in a way.
No, but you're right. He was. I mean, yeah, run the clock out. You know, but maybe that goes back to what you just said. Is how Mason don't have a backup right now, so you can't run the ball.
Yeah,
you run the ball, you're just going to turn it over and give it to him in good position. So,
yeah.
So I mean, just to play devil's advocate, maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah,
you know, that's why they were passing. But I still, you know, they were making like they were just trying to throw some short outs. You know, they were going deep. You know, that one to Juwan almost looked like the play in the Super Bowl with
Emmanuel
Sanders and Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what I mean?
But but I don't know if you recall off the top of your head because we do smoke a lot of weed.
I don't know.
The next play. Do you remember what the next play was? So I guess we should just kind of let's do some final little.
Oh my bad. That was just
what?
Derek Henry. I didn't mean to.
Oh no. It'll sometimes when we pause, it'll edit that part out.
Oh.
Yeah, like if we're not talking like directly, it'll. So obviously, right? Positives. 49ers able to move the ball. Again, right? Defense showing out where they're highly criticized coming into this game. Nick Sorensen, a lot of scrutiny on Nick Sorensen coming into this game. We what would you say? 1-2 again. Right now we're 500. We got I think Seattle next.
Yeah.
Seattle next. They got a big game coming up against Detroit, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But injuries, we're gonna keep our eyes on the injuries. Ray, to you again, right? I think earlier you and I talked about it. It's not necessarily a get right game, but are you like a little bit more like, okay, this is what we've seen in the past where they need a game like this to kind of get the morale up and, you know, like a swift kick in the ass, so to speak?
It's something to build off. You know, going into Seattle's another tough game, regardless of records, you know, regardless if we're undefeated or they're in. Well,
do you know if it's there or here? Off your head.
Probably there.
Yeah. We'll just assume, yeah. Either way, divisional games are always tough games, bro. It doesn't matter where they're at. Most of the time, but playing in Seattle sucks.
We just got to get to Geno Smith and, you know, six sacks. You know, that's not pressures. It didn't the stats wouldn't tell me pressures, but 6 sacks on Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Let's see if we could get 4 on Geno Smith, you know.
Yeah.
That's going to change the outcome if we could pressure the quarterback.
Yeah. The defense having this good of a showing. Like I know it was only Jacoby Brissett, like you said. It wasn't no Sam Darnold. But that's going to be a huge vote of confidence for the defense. Hopefully they can carry that over. Geno Smith, you know, maybe it's very similar, you know, to Jacoby Brissett in terms of play style. DK Metcalf is always a tough matchup, but Charvarius Ward is always strapped that fool the fuck up, bro. Was there any like injuries out of this game that you noticed?
Other than what you touched on earlier with Warner, but they're saying it was more precautionary. He twisted his ankle a little bit.
And just depth concerns. Kyle Shanahan keeping Brock Purdy in, keeping Jordan Mason in to the last minute. Nick Bosa was out there at the last minute. I mean, I understand, like, maybe, again, it's one of those, like, leadership things that this team, like, kind of wants and expects their guys to do.
Well, not only that, but say he pulled them out and they they started pulling back and made it a one-score game. We still win it, but they make it a one-score game. Then we're going to be criticizing Shanahan. Look at it. He fucking took his foot off the pedal again, and they almost came back and won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is almost one of those things. It's not like the end of the season to where,
Yeah, we still got a long way to go.
You want to keep them healthy for playoffs, they'll pull them out with the lead like that.
Yeah.
You're still trying to win games, and Shanahan's proven that.
Yeah.
No matter what the score is, the game ain't yours until the fucking final tick of the clock.
True, definitely. Yeah, I've learned as a Niner fan to never hold your breath with the lead because
not as a Niner fan, as a Niner fan under Shanahan.
And yeah, definitely under Shanahan. But yeah, I mean, I got a huge, I really like seeing the defense do a lot better this game. Because this is like the type of game I would have expected this defense should have performed against Darnold. Like that was my thought. They should have done this last week against, a beat up Rams team. So they made some good adjustments. There, I know I knocked the offense a lot, but fucking 120 plus yards with Jordan Mason. Like how many yards did Brock Purdy run for? Like probably another 40. Last week he got 40 something.
So, not to cut you off, but you kind of brought up mentioned injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
I brought up order, but I think I seen Pooney go off.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully that's nothing serious. He came back, but
hopefully Dominic Pooney. We did see him come back.
He came back, but hopefully that's nothing serious. And
the only thing is like keeping an eye on the guys that were already banged up. We seen George Kittle have some big plays in this. Well, one or two big plays in this game. He was already banged up. Debo was already banged up coming into this game. Trent Williams was already banged up coming into this game. You know what I mean? So hopefully those injuries aren't exasperated or whatever.
And then also, our offense, we had all guys, not necessarily healthy, but they were healthy for the game today.
Yeah, you know what's crazy?
Other than McCaffrey, but he's looking like he might be gone this season.
Yeah.
If not, he'll make a late return.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so what would be like your? How would you say, like, how like some of these guys do like the good and the bad, or like you like one positive one or whatever? Like, what's your biggest? You want to do your biggest concern right now?
Just depth. At all positions, secondary, defensively. We don't got no depth at the line. Well,
Okawanu, defensive line,
sorry. No disrespect, but anyways, he stepped up, so maybe we do have some depth at the defensive line that we didn't know about, but I've never seen him in preseason or nothing. They're still talking about possibly going out and getting DJ Jones.
Well, I mean, at this point, dude, like the defensive line, we're going to need somebody because I think
Hargrave.
Well, it was him, and then somebody. We did see somebody else go out. I just didn't know his name.
Well, Floyd's been kind of struggling with some nagging.
I believe Jordan Elliott got hurt earlier this week too, right?
Elliott. I mean, just depth all around. Running back, wide receivers. Secondary on defense, linebackers. We don't got no depth. Devontae Campbell, he's iffy, man.
Yeah,
he's a good run stopper, but in the past game, he could get beat. So
right now, I think my
found out.
Oh no, I was showing up, but I took my concern. I would say my biggest concern, I would say right now, like, and this just kind of like goes to the past couple of years, especially like most recently the Super Bowl. And maybe I'm looking at it in a vacuum, but you look at those 3 games we lost, and then that game we lost to Baltimore, and then we ended up losing to the Rams last year at the end of the season with some backups, and then that Super Bowl loss, right? And then these 2 losses. So I'm kind of looking at like those 8 games. And I'm like, there's like this like common theme, right? Where a lot of these, some teams can't match up with us at will. Some teams can't rush 5 or 6. Some other teams thrive on that. Like that's their whole scheme. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I noticed those teams that can do that are the teams that fuck us up the most.
Give us trouble, yeah.
Yeah, and the most alarming thing for me would be like this whole like going back to week 1, 6 field goals this week. Those 2 field goals early on. You know what I mean? We settled for, I think, maybe 3 field goals ultimately today. We got 1 passing touchdown, 1 offensive touchdown, you know? So the best team in the NFL, the most with the most Super Bowls in recent history right now is Kansas City Chiefs. And Ron Gary, but I know they score way more than that. You know what I mean? Like, and
the most Super Bowls.
No, I mean right now, recent history. Like the past, couple Super Bowls, they've got 3 right now. So,
New England still got it.
Yeah, they got the most altogether. Yeah. I meant like just most, like who I'm comparing like to what's relevant. Like in order for us to climb that mountain and top the mountain.
New England almost went on a fucking 20-year run.
No, I mean like because that dude's not here no more. So who are we competing with, and who's beat us the last 2 Super Bowls?
No, I know.
Yeah.
Saying, but
I just wanted to keep it relevant, like in terms of like if the Niners can't compete, like we used to be able. We've seen games where like when Harbaugh went toe to toe with Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Kansas City ain't a dynasty yet.
Bro, they already got 3 Super Bowls, bro.
Maybe 1 more
to be a dynasty. 2 Super Bowls ain't a dynasty to you? I don't know, bro. That's crazy. Well, they got.
That's what they tried to say when New England.
So yeah. I guess yeah. No, and I know what you mean because I guess we kind of set the standard. So I guess I should follow the school of thought on that. You know what I mean? Like we set the standard because there was 4 Super Bowls with 1 quarterback. They got 3 Super Bowls with 1 quarterback. So yeah, I agree. I guess I could agree with you on that. But that's my biggest concern, bro. Is that offense, bro? That offense. Still, again, back to our episode on Wednesday, state of the franchise. Complimentary football, keeping that defense fresh, letting that defense do what it does best by keeping them off the field, maintaining drives, and then ultimately capitalizing on turnovers and things like that. I think that might just be my final thought in the Niners, bro. It's so easy to talk about them when we're losing. It's harder to talk about them when they're winning.
I mean, hopefully this lit a flame, bro, and this. Because today they played like they're supposed to play, like we want to see or we expect to see them play.
Yeah. So
this is what, as a Niner fan, and even if you're a new, recent Niner fan, this is the standard they've set for you throughout the last, we'll say 10 years. Go back to Harbaugh,
and that's why I say it's hard to accept anything less.
And that's my point right now. And, when I see guys like Ayuk not giving the effort that we paid him for and that he fought to get the money that he said he would give the effort for, it's kind of like, all right, man, we're talking about trading a wide receiver, and you weren't the one in the conversation, but you just put your name in that hat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just based off effort, bro. We want what championship caliber team is based off somebody that's going to, or based off of guys that are going to give 100% effort.
Yeah.
And you're only as strong as your weakest link. And if you got one guy not giving effort, man,
so
it hurts everybody.
Effort was one of the biggest, questions last year. We went through Randy Gregory, Chase Young. You know what I mean?
Look how many defensive players got called out for effort.
Even Javon Hargrave before he got hurt.
Javon Hargrave, Nick Bosa got called out.
Even Deebo Samuel, offensive. You know what I mean?
Who's the dude we picked up and thought he was going to Chase Young?
Yeah, Chase Young. Yeah, Randy Gregory. That whole situation.
So
real quick, Ray. You fish, right?
Yeah.
Are you a fan of like competitive fishing?
Yeah.
Do you know this guy? Have you ever seen this guy before?
The Milliken?
Let me see. Tell me. Okay, here we go.
Sneakemeyer here. One of my favorite ways to catch them is with a flipping rod. Whether it's punching heavy grass or using fluorocarbon. And this year I've really settled into the.
Let me see. I want to go to his page because it's gonna be too slow. Fuck, I'm gonna have. Oh damn! I wish it was faster. I don't want to have to edit it out, but it's gonna be too slow. Like if you scroll through his page hella fast, it sounds hella funny. He's like, "Hi, I'm James C."
When it comes to forward-facing sonar, it's quite a touchy topic. But I will say this: one thing will really help you.
Yeah, see, it's gonna be.
Wait a minute.
Got to catch up to him. There's like a point where there's like a bunch of them where he's like. I think he went viral because he knew he was doing it on purpose, you see on the phone, how it like automatically plays. It's not the same on here. Damn it, I fucked it up. Anyway.
Hey everyone, James Sneakemeyer here for your Progressive Insurance Tournament.
I should have just showed you on the phone. It would have been better. All right. for the 49 Problemz podcast. Red and gold till I'm dead and cold. 49ers win against the Patriots. Much needed win. The 49ers sit at 500.
30 to 13.
30 to 13. 30 to 17. I can't exactly
30 to
remember.
13.
All I know is we won. That's all that fucking matters. Shout out Fred Warner.
Nick Bosa.
Look at the jersey. Shout out Nick Bosa. Shout out the boys. Shout out Jordan Mason. Can't wait to get McCaffrey back though one day. Anyways, Ray, you predicting an early prediction win next week, Seattle?
Yeah.
We got to keep it going.
Tough game. It's gonna be a close one.
Same. I agree. Division games. They've been on a little roll, so we have to see what happens with Detroit. But we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna end this episode. We got about a good little hour there, Ray. For the 49 Problemz podcast, once again, Kyle J. Vigil,
Ray J. Garcia.
Ray, who got it better than us?
Nobody. Red and gold till I'm dead and cold.
We out. 49 Problemz.
He had like some skits. Like he would find videos that went viral and he'd do skits to them. And there was one where it's there's an old man at this thing called hedonism.
Yeah.
And it's like in Jamaica, bro, and it's just like an orgy party, for old people and shit. And there's a guy there, and they interviewed him, like, what's your favorite part about, hedonism? He's all, oh, the wild women.
Yeah.
And the ripping in the chair. And when he did it, he did like a little. So he fucking, they made like a video of it where they put it on like auto tune.